Good morning. It is me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies inside of ourselves. Understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see that energy reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want those things to change around us, we have to make changes within ourselves. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and start looking at the spread today. So we're going to start with Divine Feminine because Divine Masculine did not show any cards today. He's keeping his cards hidden, which is ironic since the top of his deck, which I can see, is the moon in reverse. So he's about to reveal everything, but he didn't want to do it yet, I guess. So we're going to start with Divine Feminine. We're flipping over all of her cards. Wow. We have some stalker cards, people, from this week. Let's take a look at the top of the deck for Divine Feminine Headspace. This is her overall focus, the thing that she's fixated on, the thing that she's thinking the most about, forefront of her mind, the Fool. We're using the Field Tarot, and this card says beginnings on it instead of the Fool, but it is the Fool. So Divine Feminine, looking very vulnerable, is standing with an expanse in front of her that's like a blank slate, basically. And this is the card of the blank slate. And this is what Divine Feminine is definitely desiring. She's desiring a new beginning. This is in love, in work, in the place she lives. There's all different kinds of elements and layers that are going with this feeling of this card today. But for sure, Divine Feminine is ready to start over, start something new. She's been on a journey for quite a long time, and it's getting old. And she's like, I'm ready. I'm ready for new horizons. I'm ready for new love. I'm ready. I'm ready. Okay. And then the niggling thing in the back of her mind that's underlying all of her thoughts and decisions is the card that I mentioned we're going to go see over for Divine Masculine. The moon in reverse. So there's some union for you. The moon for Divine Feminine in reverse is about releasing her fears and anxieties that she has about this new beginning. She really is embracing the potential for this new beginning, and she's not afraid to take this leap anymore. We see her releasing her subconscious beliefs. I would be remiss if I did not mention tonight's full moon that we are seeing here in this picture, and this opportune moment for her to release anything that is blocking her from having this new beginning. So tonight is the night to just let it all out, kind of a thing. And that is also a deep desire for her to know everything that's been secret and hidden. The first thing on her mind is the Ace of Cups, love. So we can make an assumption that the Fool card being the overall thing she's thinking about, wanting a new beginning, wanting something new, and then having the card that represents new love appear. She wants a reflection of the cup that she has filled up. She's done this work. She's filled her cup. It's overflowing, and she's preparing herself to receive a cup that matches her own. And she is working on her own self-love and really, really trying to be mindful of the delicate balance between loving self and loving unconditionally those around you. And that's not just your person, because learning that this journey that brings you back to this state of vulnerability is actually about learning unconditional love for everyone, not just for one person. So this is something that Divine Feminine, it's like the first thing on her mind is this lesson and wanting to give this cup and receive the reflection of this cup back to her. The next thing on her mind is the High Priestess in reverse. So she is really working on her relationship with her own intuition, trying constantly trying to suss out whether the things that she, like the feelings she gets, whether those are intuition based or whether it is something that's more ego based. And so she's constantly doing that work, and that's supported because the next card that's coming up for her is Strength in reverse. So there's a consistent working on or need to work on discovering whether it is her ego or her intuition that is, giving her these messages, giving her these signs. And she's really working on learning that delicate balancing act, because our ego will make us feel afraid of things, and we will sometimes mistake fear for our intuition. Alternatively, our ego may want messages to mean certain things so that we can appease the part of ourselves that desires something and really does ignore the truth of the messages we receive because it's blinded by its own hubris, right? So Divine Feminine is working on those two things. Currently, she's really working hard to trust herself and to not be like in that holier than thou state. Because if there is shadow associated with the high priestess, it's a bit that you're sitting up, above others, sort of observing their adorable machinations while you see all, know all kind of a thing. So there is an element of shadow there that Divine Feminine is releasing, that she doesn't know everything. Me? I don't know everything. What do you mean? I'm a brilliant individual. She doesn't know everything. And she doesn't know exactly what it is that's best for her also. And these two cards together for me is a forget what you think you need. Divine Feminine is learning this lesson. She's like, oh, I need this one person. And the universe is like, no, you need this one person to teach you how, excuse me, can't get it out, how much you love yourself, right? You don't need that person. You need that person to teach you how much you need and love yourself, okay? Which is important for you to be able to manifest this next thing that you so desire. Reciprocity, the Six of Pentacles, and it's no surprise that it's falling under this Ace of Cups with this lovely reflective energy here. This is a powerful indication that Divine Feminine is finally at this point where her self-love and worthiness is such that the only kind of attention she will accept is reciprocal attention from a divine masculine, because here it is again, the Emperor. This card is not joking around with us the last 2 days. Every reading, every deck I've had it, pretty much. The Emperor, the divine masculine. Not a person, but an essence inside of self, and an essence she's hoping to attract in another person, right? She wants this counterpart that matches her energy so well to give her this cup and reciprocate. And here's her Sun card in reverse. Again, we saw this card in reverse in one of the readings from yesterday. I don't know. I do so many now. Oh, I can't keep them all straight. But there was one reading. It might have been the Tell Me Everything reading, which would be on Instagram, or it could have been Pearl's Prayers TikTok that I did this reading in. But there was the Sun in reverse. And when we see the Sun in reverse, there's a few different layers. First of all, it is akin to the Nine of Cups. Also, I can officially never say that word again without thinking of my former drummer whose name should not even be mentioned, but He had a Turkish name that looked like akin, but wasn't. And every time I now say that word, which is in my language, I cannot escape that. And I always want to pronounce it as his name. And I'm like, nope. God damn it. Akin to the 9 of Cups, which is, if you get it upright or in reverse, it's auspicious. And the Sun card is the same. If you get the Sun card upright or in its reversal, it's going to be, the outlook is good. This is about bliss and spiritual fulfillment and happiness and enlightenment, no matter what position it's in. To come out after the Divine Masculine, which came out after Reciprocity, shows me that Divine Feminine's work that she's currently doing with her ego is to release any idea that the happiness she currently feels is because of reciprocity from the Divine Masculine. She has to fully embrace that the happiness and joy that she feels right now comes from this energy of confidence, boldness, activation that she possesses within inside of self. She feels happy, therefore this reflection is on its way, not the other way around. And this is the lesson that she's learning right now, which is an incredibly powerful lesson to learn, because it's the ego's trick that it convinces you, oh, your happiness rests with the fulfillment of this relationship, which keeps you from ever being in the relationship because you won't feel happy until you are. But the truth that the ego is cleverly hiding from you is that as you feel happy and joy, then this relationship can come to you. And your happiness and joy can never be about that relationship. It might be enhanced by the relationship. It might level it up because you're already happy and it's like, oh my God, now this is happening. But until the moment for you is, oh, now this is happening, it will always elude you. And this is what she's gaining enlightenment about, which is also what the Sun card is. As soon as she's fully learned this lesson of the ego, she will have achieved enlightenment. She will have achieved control over these baser motives that block her from truly enjoying her happiness. Divine Feminine, you are so smart. That was all in your head space. All right. In your heart space, all the feels. We keep getting this cup, don't we? The Knight of Cups. And I'm sorry, but I really need to look at what the story is because this is from my Tarot of the Divine and I'm still learning this deck. And I just really need to know what, because that looks like some kind of colonizer. So I want to see what the hell story it is. Here we go. Knight of Cups. Please. Oh, it's after this page. Knight of Cups, a Mongolian legend, Halabu the hunter. The Knight of Cups is a messenger. Halabu is kind and gentle while also willing to take a stand for what he believes in. Halabu provides for his village, and after befriending a dragon, he willingly sacrifices himself to save everyone he loves. Chivalry, affection, invitations, taking action, and meaningful gifts associated with this Halabu Mongolian legend. Very interesting. There's, is that an eagle? Looks like freedom there. Also getting a donkey, which is stubborn energy. And we saw a donkey also yesterday. Donkey skin. That came out in a reading from yesterday. It was a French fairy tale from this deck, actually. So Divine Feminine's heart space, the overall feeling of her heart space is this openness to receiving an offer. We saw it was the first thing in her mind, this offer. and this reciprocity. And so we're definitely feeling like her heart space is prepared to receive. And I'm assuming also prepared to give. So she's ready to give and receive love right now. And the niggling feeling is the 10 of Pentacles. And it's this card from the Tarot of the Divine, which is very much about legacy and all of the people that are affected by her happiness. So underlying everything, underlying this awareness that her joy is present, not because of the Divine Masculine's attention or because he's going to come after all or anything like that, but because she had started to feel a sense of fulfillment simply in the work she does, in her friendships that are around her, in her environment as much as she possibly can, even if it's not exactly what she's desired. Her ability to do this is allowing her to materialize her fulfillment. And this journey is going to affect so many people. And so that's underlying the feelings of her heart. Wow. The Queen of Cups is clarifying love. We have a Divine Feminine who is deeply in love with the Divine Masculine counterpart. Incredibly, deeply in love with this person. Unconditional. Not allowing any of this person's fears or faults to create a disconnect in the emotional bond. For her, she just has compassion. She just knows that if she has compassion for this person, it will be reflected back to her if it is meant to be. She's very psychic. She's navigating her emotions really well. The Queen of Cups doesn't need temperance. She is temperance. She's so balanced in her emotions. Nothing can really sway her when she's in her light. When she's in her shadow, we're seeing overwhelmment and imbalance, but she's very much in the light of this right now. This card, the Lover's card, clarifying the High Priestess. So in my mind right now, the first thing I thought of is Divine Feminine is finally not associating third-party energy with blockages towards her manifestation of the Lovers. So this is really interesting because there's a lot of layers here. She used to doubt her intuition about third-party energy. So there's some in the collective that there was third-party energy and they doubted it. They didn't trust their intuition, and then it was confirmed that it was there. And so they're learning how to now trust intuitive hits they get. For others, there was no third-party energy that was so let me clarify. We're talking specifically when third-party energy is a lover. So not when it's like an outside entity or a career or all the other things that third-party means. This is specifically when it's another person. So let's just say karmic relationships. Okay, Divine Feminine has a tendency to either completely be in denial about, not trust her intuition about karmic relationships that the counterpart has engaged in, or she gets seduced by her ego's fears of the, I can't pick up the card that I'm trying to pick up. There we go. She gets seduced by her ego's fears of third-party energy as well, of karmic relationships as well. And so she's learning this lesson, how to release that. The other thing she's learning is that as long as she stays in a state of imbalance, which the High Priestess in reverse can indicate imbalance because it is a twin flame balancing card, this manifestation of union will elude her, right? So there's all those layers. The last thing is that she now knows that if she were to engage in karmic relationships, that it wouldn't diminish the love that she has in her connection either. That these connections are no longer throwing her intuition, which her intuition tells her, no matter what happens, you will have this love for this person and they will love you. And she's really learning to trust that. And then look at the union. The Fool. The Fool. And we get a mermaid energy here, like an Ariel energy. And she is really wanting to go beyond land and leave behind the water because she thinks the grass is greener, right? She's a bit foolish. But this is clarifying the ego in reverse. So this is divine feminine's desire to have a fresh start, not let the ego's fears and anxieties pull her into this imbalance and disconnect with her masculine energy, but to start fresh and be able to connect with him or connect with this thing that she desires, but to be fully with her counterpart. And she's ready to take this leap despite her ego being afraid or being worried that it's going to, be humiliated in some way. She's no longer going to hold herself back from her opportunity. She's going to take the leap. This Six of Pentacles, this is being clarified by the Page of Wands. We have a very excited divine feminine energy. She's really, really excited because she's really feeling that there is this evidence that reciprocity is happening and that she's going to be able to enjoy her manifestation. So she's feeling this spark of excitement and new, fresh opportunities. This her side is all about new and fresh, new love, new opportunities with the divine masculine that are presenting themselves to her, new ideas about what might happen, what is about to unfold. Wow. This Emperor, we are getting the Five of Wands in reverse, and 2 cards came out for this one, and the Four of Swords in reverse. So unblocked and opening up and awakened. So her divine masculine energy inside of herself is unblocking and awakening so that she can finally achieve this masculine worth energy and reflect it back to her. So whatever was keeping her from achieving financial stability or from trusting or having faith in her ability to attract what it is that she desired. Interesting. My cards are... Sometimes my cards will bend like... I don't know if you can see that. But I can't explain it. And it literally happens like while I'm using them. I don't know, like only this one is doing that right now. It's really weird. And then it causes them to sometimes turn. The deeper you get into this stuff, the more you're like, I don't know what's happening. So divine feminine has unblocked and awakened this primal masculine energy inside of herself. She's activated, and the activation of that energy requires a reflection. And here it is. The Sun, this happiness that's in reverse, it's being clarified by the 10 of Swords in reverse. So again, we understand it as being this feeling that when the separation is ended, she will be able to have this joy. So, knowing that lesson of the headspace, we see the headspace countering the heart and saying, no, it won't be when the separation is ended. It won't be because the separation is ended. The separation will end because I can feel joy and contentment right now. I just said to my friend yesterday, my friend Kylie, I said, I'm the happiest I have ever been, and I have the least amount of money I've ever had. I have negative dollars right now in my bank account because I have had no income for weeks. So I'm just like, and it's just sitting there in a bank account and I can't access it. And in the past, I would be so focused on that and so upset and so depressed and so worried and so like, oh, don't you? And I'm not. I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm working, same job I've always had, making music, I'm reading cards, I'm talking to people, I'm helping them, I'm healing people, I'm healing myself, I'm enjoying ridiculous movies and shows and TV and my kid when I can over FaceTime, and and I'm broke. But like, I'm okay. Like, I'm totally fine. So if I needed my bank account to reflect the abundance that is literally there, there's the check, and it's in this bank, and it just won't come to my house. It just won't come, but it's there. It's mine. No one else is gonna get it. Like, it's literally mine. Just hanging out there. I have to achieve this feeling of contentment and happiness without the check, and I did. So I guarantee you, I will either get the check today, or they will direct deposit it because I'm really sick of this in the mail kind of crap that's going on, or whatever is going to happen. But it will likely happen today because I feel good whether it does or not. I mean, in a couple days, if there's no food, it might be harder, but you know what? It won't, because I'll call a friend and be like, hey, I've got no food, and they'll bring food over. There's just a contentment there that Divine Feminine is learning does not come from circumstances, but comes from something within that finally just calms down, relaxes, right? And if you need a reading, pearlsprayers.com to book services, 25% off with Gray Strega ! Gift code. Just saying. There's also a button you can hit to click support, because I do this as my job, and I know a lot of you watch completely for free, and I do it for free. But if you have the time, the effort, the energy, and can support me, please do so. You can also send me decks to change up imagery on the site as well. There's a send me a deck button, and all the information is in the description box below. But genuinely, like, I do need consistent income, so help a sister out. All right, let's get going for the Divine Masculine side of self. What is the overall headspace for the Divine Masculine? Well, I told you already that it is the moon in reverse. Look, a reflection of the Divine Feminine underlying thing in her headspace is the overall thing in Divine Masculine's headspace. No more secrets, no more mysteries, except for the beautiful divine mystery that's here, of course. No more limiting subconscious beliefs holding him, no more fears, and no more anxiety. But being able to just lay it all out on the table and complete the cycle. There's cycling images here, right? We've got the full moon and the moon card and releasing. So I have a feeling that the Divine Masculine and Feminine are likely going to experience a full moon release together tonight. The Chariot is the underlying thing in the back of the mind. So underlying everything is surrender to this motion forward. Divine Masculine is not limiting himself by holding on to any subconscious beliefs that will block this motion. Therefore, there's really nothing holding him back. I don't know if somebody has sickness, but I'm starting to get like the symptoms of being sick for a second. It's weirdly just, I can tell it's not me. So somebody that's like got the sniffles or something. Okay. The first thing on Divine Masculine's mind, let me turn everything over here. Oh my God. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. The first thing on his mind is justice in reverse. There has been something that has been incredibly unfair and imbalanced. And it's something to do with the Divine Feminine. And it's in this image in particular, we see her holding the scale up and tipping the scale. And her action is causing this scale to be imbalanced. So there could have been a feminine energy from the past that was holding the scale and tipping them and making it difficult for Divine Masculine to balance them. This could be the Divine Feminine energy herself. She was giving and giving and giving and giving so much that he couldn't possibly meet her where she was at because of his circumstances that may have involved legal matters. So this is the first thing on his mind. The imbalance stemmed from this inability for him to turn the scales or to tip the scales in her favor. In the next position, we have the Queen of Pentacles in reverse, but there has been a release of a past energy, probably a former partner, long-term connection, a past career, a maternal energy. There's just something that had control, that was maybe holding those scales, that had something to do with the legal judgment. That divine feminine has been released, but that relationship kept him from being able to offer the divine feminine this ace, which he was building up behind the scenes. There's definitely that feeling. And then I cannot make it up. The motherfucking emperor, bitches. We can't get rid of this guy. He is not going anywhere. And in this instance, what we're looking at is a release, which we love because it's the full moon. So get it on. Releasing the shadow of the emperor, which was the controlling, the jealousy, the rage, the ruthlessness, the ego, big time ego thing. So he's also working on ego stuff and releasing this shadow. And we're also seeing that the justice system, the unfair justice system, the potentially overbearing or problematic feminine energy that had to be released, these are all of his, I'm gonna say it, excuses for the shadow. But what did we learn? Good morning, I see you there. What did we learn about the divine feminine side, where she was like, my happiness doesn't depend on coming into union. My union depends on coming into happiness. I need to be in happiness and joy in order to come into union, right? And so it's really me that blocks my happiness. Well, divine masculine is in the same position of realizing that, you know, these excuses for why he was controlling actually had more to do with his state of being controlling. Like his distorted masculine energy was something that he learned either. I mean, I'm not going to say either. He learned it. We all learn distorted masculine energy. We are all told that that energy is okay. We're like, it is fine to be ruthless. Just ask any like billionaire. That's fine. We say. We do not collectively decide that a person who has achieved $100 billion might have a cat now and share the rest of that wealth with the world that is suffering, because we allow ruthlessness. We say that's permissive. We also culturally believe that the masculine should be in control, that the feminine should not. She's too emotional. She's too hysterical. She's too weak. She's a little, you know, she's not room in her head. She has too many periods to be able to figure shit out, right? The distorted masculine isn't a mystery. We all live in it. So when you're pissed off at your masculine energy for living in the distortions you live in, you have to reflect back on yourself. That's where we see divine feminine healing this. Now we have a provider, a protector. We have somebody who is able to in a clear-headed manner, command and rule over empires. We have somebody who can make sound decisions, but is not so ego-based that the decisions that they make are stubbornly ruthless. So divine feminine is healing this masculine, and then what is happening inside of divine masculine? He's healing the distortions. How is he doing it? Again, I can't make it up. The Empress. By integrating divine feminine inside of self. By balancing what was imbalanced. It wasn't a legal contract, a past marriage, something that he is, you know, like, oh, he couldn't be with you because he had to get a divorce. Those are the details. The tarot represents the spiritual journey. I see you. talking about having a struggle turning off the masculine. We all do, because we are told in order to survive, you have to embody that masculine energy, right? And that the feminine energy is not going to help you out. What if we looked at our school programs, the things that we emphasize in public schools in America? We downplay, quote unquote, feminine energy, which is creative arts. We're like, oh, those aren't important. Not important. Nope, we just need fucking calculators, because they're going to do a good job making decisions, right? So every single person, no matter what your gender or body parts, whenever I'm talking about it, when I say he and she, and I use those pronouns, I use hard pronouns because I'm talking about extreme opposing energies. But the binary is the way to go. If everybody just decided that they would be they from now on, we'd probably live in a happier world. I really feel that way, because non-binary is balanced. Non-binary doesn't say, oh, I can't be in my feminine today because that's weak and pathetic. And I can't be in my masculine today because that's too hard and aggressive and threatening and violent, right? It knows that both aspects of the self exist together in balance. And there's no reason to strongly prefer one over the other because of any moral obligation. Right? So divine masculine is overcoming his distorted energy by welcoming healed, healthy, feminine energy into his life. This is probably happening if the gendered person identifies with a masculine energy. This is probably happening because he's inviting a feminine, identified feminine into his life, a counterpart. But what's really happening is internal. He is realizing that he didn't allow himself to feel his feelings, that he thought they were weak or bad. And he's understanding they're not. They're precious, right? And then we have the Page of Swords in reverse. This is clarifying this Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So again, we see divine masculine letting us know storyline wise in his headspace why he couldn't bring the offer to divine feminine. While he was releasing himself from some kind of legal bondage, he couldn't allow this feminine to see what was going on. He couldn't bring clarity to the divine feminine, and he couldn't allow the feminine he was releasing to see what was going on with the divine feminine. So there was hiding and spying. There was like suppressing of curiosity. He was trying to keep both of them from being too curious about one another so that he could do what he needed to do. And this isn't shady, it's protective, because that's the distortion from this feminine energy, right? We talked about distorted masculine energy. Well, what does distorted feminine look like? It looks like this: overbearing, demanding, just as controlling as the distorted masculine, overprotective. So he was engaging in this so that he could try to control with his distorted energy the situation. But what he discovered is that what was truly going on is this temperance in reverse, this imbalance, which we saw from the Justice card in reverse to start out, and then we see this masculine energy in reverse. So there are those in the collective who have substance abuse issues, in particular alcohol, because the temperance card comes up quite a lot, and addictions and everything else are always coming up for both energies. And I mean, come on, we're all addicted to something. But in particular, I do feel that there are those masculines in the collective a really hard time with drinking. And what I see this divine masculine reflecting upon right now is what has been hidden, these things that are being revealed to him with this moon energy that's in its reverse. what we are seeing him revealing, or what he's wanting to talk about, is that he had all of these problems. He had legal problems, he had ex problems, he had like financial problems, and all of the problems really kind of caused this really large numbing problem, which then fed all the other problems. So we're seeing a divine masculine who might be going through recovery, or needing to go into recovery or rehabilitation for potential addictions. But what we're seeing is an awareness, because we're looking at his headspace, of what caused the problem. A divine feminine knows what caused the problem, thinking that the end of separation is really where her happiness is. Nope. She has to be happy to end the separation, right? So divine feminine was like, I have to have my own happiness, right? Hi, Lena, I see you there. And divine masculine is realizing, I drink too much, or I do this too much, or I'm too aggressive, angry. This is also jealousy, anger. So anger management problems, jealousy, not able to temper those emotions, right? If you think emotions are bad and you repress them your whole life, when you start to open up the floodgates for them to come out, girl, look out. You don't have any idea how to control them. They're running around willy-nilly. You've never, ever, ever, ever babysat those kids before. So you don't even know what to do. You've got no tools. They're just running around, right? So divine masculine opens those floodgates, and he is overwhelmed and probably uses substances to numb the feeling of overwhelmment. So this is what he's thinking about. Let's look at what he's feeling. I did not see that the first card in the headspace was going to be Justice in reverse until I flipped the cards over. But I can see the top and bottom of the deck because I always turn those over right at the beginning of the shuffle. So I'm sorry, all my cards are falling. I'm trying to pick them up here. So when I saw the top of the heart space, I was like, finally, Justice upright. And then this came out in reverse. But this is in the head space. This is in the heart space. And this is the overall feeling. And I'm so happy to see an upright Justice card for the masculine. Why? Because we looked at his headspace and he's realizing how imbalanced he is and how he numbed himself out because of that imbalance, and how all the excuses he had really stemmed from his own distortion. And the heart space feels like balance is here. Justice has happened. He may have received, because this Justice in reverse was in the past placement, he also likely received a judgment. So that whole legal thing is done, and this is up right now because it's over, but it's really more about balance. The divine masculine knowing he's out of balance, and the heart space feeling like he can be in balance. Good morning. Hello. The niggling feeling in the back of the heart space is, this is the bottom of the deck, the Wheel of Fortune, which we saw yesterday. And to come out with this Chariot is pretty exciting because this is a surrender to the divine timing. And being balanced and in surrender and aware of your distortions for both, and having that Fool energy for the divine feminine. She's like, all right, I'm going to take a risk with this masculine. I'm going to do it. Like, I'm not going to hold myself back. Like, I'll do it. This is good energy. All right. Wow. Clarifying Justice in reverse. We have the Three of Swords from the Wild Unknown Tarot. Oh, by the way, this is the Tattoo Tarot. So divine masculine, we know that the injustice had to do with third party energy, most likely a past marriage, because it's likely a legal contract. It does not have to be, though. It could be even a legally binding. Like, I have someone in my collective who had a house with a masculine energy, and they had to sell the house when the relationship ended, and that legal contract was it was in a state of unfair imbalance until that contract was ended. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. It could also be a work contract. It could have been something that he's committed to from a job, like he has to be across seas for a while to do it, things like that. Don't always focus on this, like, oh, there's some other energy that's a female or whatever, because that is just our ego that is really determined not to believe that this person loves us, but it's fine. But in this case, I do think for some, there was a marriage that has ended. There were a lot of entanglements, and it was very painful and very heartbreaking. This is not something that was easy in any way, shape, or form to do. But we know that he has this awareness because this card is about being aware of things that cause you pain and about how you cause yourself pain. And we looked at his headspace in detail, seeing that he's absolutely aware of that. So this is another, because swords represent thoughts, not like, it is about painful thoughts, but it's not about like actual implements of violence. I mean, I guess they can be in different readings, but not in this circumstance. Right now, those metaphorical swords are painful thoughts, painful experiences, painful memories, and the entanglement of all of those things. Clarifying that Queen of Pentacles in reverse, we see the Star. So what is better than the Star to heal distorted feminine energy? Remember, if Divine Masculine had to get rid of a distorted feminine energy, that was his own. And there was an external representation of that, whether it was a career that was too controlling, or an actual female, or cutting connections with a abusive maternal energy. The best thing to do to heal the energy that is allowing that external person into your life is to go within and focus on your hopes and dreams and allow the belief in those hopes and dreams to heal you. Allow your unconscious having that capacity to imagine wonderful things, pour that into the material. And Divine Masculine used his focus on the Divine Feminine as his hope and dream to heal these experiences of the distorted feminines around him. So he kept seeing the feminine who's working on herself, who's trying to heal herself, who maybe when they were interacting years ago was saying really abusive, narcissistic things, the way that all the feminines in his life did. But this feminine is on the journey of healing. So she's healing and she's healing, and he's seeing her healing, and he's like, oh, wait, she really is like this feminine I always imagined. She's not like the other ones around me. So his ability to see a feminine energy healed and loving and compassionate and emotional, but balanced, allows him to believe that he can attract that energy, and then he learns that he has to find it within himself. So that's a beautiful storyline. Then we have the Emperor in reverse. Car horns. Thank you. And the King of Swords upright. So this is so interesting too, because the distortions of the King of Swords include iciness, coldness, aloofness. But the King of Swords in his light traits is in his integrity. He's truthful. He's honest. He has a plan. He has a strategy. And he has wisdom. And we see that his wisdom is helping him have clarity about his distortion, about his coveting something precious and guarding it and not allowing others to get to it. And he's seeing this, he's having this enlightenment now about how he prevented himself from coming into union. The Empress is being clarified by the Eight of Pentacles. So we're seeing the hard work and patience. Not only that he views Divine Feminine as having done and having possessed, but that he himself has had to reflect back to her. He has had to have an incredible amount of patience as he's been building this web that will allow them to catch the abundance that they need to be able to have this life together and be in union. And he is really seeing divine feminine and just loving her for her hard work and her patience. And he feels that she has done so well and that she is so creative and so abundant. The Page of Swords in reverse. Wow. Being clarified by the Seven of Swords in reverse. These are two cards about spying. And this one is about cheating and it's about hiding, but it's also about strategy. This is about unmasking divine masculine, realizing that he did so many things to distort what divine feminine was actually seeing, that he kept her in the clouds, that he not only just because he wanted to surprise her, that was some part of it, but really it was more about him hiding the things that he was doing that were distorted, and he didn't want her to know about them because he felt shame. And he would engage in a lot of spying and looking and hiding on her because he was in the background doing things that were not too savory. He was certain divine feminine must be doing those things. He was wrong, but he realizes that now. And he's releasing this desire to look for these opportunities that divine feminine has to cheat on him or betray him. And before you get too smug about that, divine feminine, remember, this is your energy. So inside of yourself, you were quick to jump to conclusions with your masculine that if he wasn't speaking to you for 5 minutes, he was probably getting his dick sucked somewhere. So don't get smug, girl, because you're in the same energy. You're healing this tendency to jump to this conclusion that this person is somehow tricking you because you're starting to trust and believe and have faith just like he is. This temperance in the reverse, this is why he can't take action. Here's the King of Wands. Until he is in balance inside of himself, which might mean he needs to recover from an addiction. He could be in the process of recovering from an addiction. But it's also this recognition that until there's this complete healing, which comes from the divine, because that's the other aspect of the temperance card, right? It has an angelic presence in it, and the angelic presence is the one that's doing the pouring back and forth. You're not doing anything. You're just laying there and allowing your immune system to heal the cut on your arm. It's not like you sit there and you're like, okay, white blood cells, line up. I don't know. What do you do? Line up or whatever. Go. It's like it's next to the mole. No, over here. You're not directing your immune system what to do. Your immune system fucking knows what to do because you've been designed to be healed by the creator if you get a cut or any damage. Our bodies will be completely dismantled. We'll have very few pieces left and still we can have life, right? And we're not in charge of that. So the healing process that's taking place is something that divine masculine has surrendered to. Remember, he surrendered to divine timing. And he understands that this healing has to take place within himself for him to be able to take action. He's also healing the ego, because that's another thing, that if the distortions of the King of Wands are similar to the distortions of the Emperor, it's that rage and jealousy, getting, this is all that's being healed. Wow, really positive energy today. Even if it's not like we're coming into union right now. First of all, we are into union. All of our freaking cards are in union. So you're in union. So you should start feeling really happy because you're in union right now. And you're like, but I'm not like having dinner later with him or whatever. And you're like, okay, well, imagine that you are together and one of you, let's say you, because, a lot of times we look at this as a masculine thing. You get an amazing opportunity to take a job in another place for 3 months and you hug divine masculine and give him a kiss and you say, oh, call me every day. And he's like, okay, I will. And then you go to the other place and you live your best life there. Are you crying the whole time? I mean, maybe you are because you're codependent and attached to this person and you can't have like fun by yourself. Or do you feel confident and secure in the love that you have and you're able to enjoy everything that's going on, even though you're not physically together because you're in union? Because while he's over there hanging out with the kids or doing whatever he's doing and you're over here doing your thing, you are in union and there's nothing that separates you, and you don't have doubts, fears, worries, and anxieties about cheating because you've released the fears, worries, and anxieties that made you feel insecure enough to think that somebody would do that to you when you know that you have a committed, loving relationship where that doesn't happen. That is an ideal situation, and you can be in that ideal situation right now. Right now, you can embrace that you are on a journey where you met a person that you get to be in union with forever. So you never, ever have to feel alone. And everyone around you might feel alone, and they might be looking for a person that matches them. But you know, my person exists. And I don't have to physically be with them to feel the pure joy of knowing that there is an individual on this planet who is my divine counterpart, who proves to me that there is a God or whatever I want to call it, who helps me believe in miracles, who showed me who I am in myself, who makes me feel uplifted just because they are so amazing. And I know that that's how the source feels when the source looks at me. That's the lesson. If you are here for me to tell you when you're going to get into union or when he's going to come back, or hi, you're going to see me a lot. You're going to see me every day. You're going to see me probably twice a day. You'll probably go back and rewatch my video to try to figure it out, how to get into reunion, and miss the lesson completely. The lesson is you are in union. Physical reunion is a manifestation of a state of being. And if you embrace that this union you have when you are on your own, doing your own thing, having the best time, loving that person from a distance while that person loves you, that is union, then you will be free. All right, let's look at the oracles. Divine Feminine, your sexy energy, girl. Where are you right now with your sexy energy? You and your sexy energy, you're very complicated. I am seeing the Three of Swords. We already saw the Three of Swords today. How is this sexy, Divine Feminine? And this is from the Sluttish Tarot. And then I'm seeing the Ace of Wands. So, you are open for business and you are ready to go. But you are afraid of breaking hearts. You are afraid of getting your heart broken, and you're afraid of breaking Divine Masculine's heart if you engage in any other business. And so you kind of have opposing energies going on. You're like, I want it. Ooh, but I don't want to cause any pain, and I don't want to revisit any of the sexual trauma that I might have experienced in my past. So I want it, but I'm afraid of it. I want it, but I don't know. I want it, but okay? So that's where Divine Feminine is. Now, Three of Swords, we said, are about painful realizations we have about the truth. So it might be hard for us to embrace how much we want to experience this and how we don't allow ourselves to, and how that really does hurt ourselves. And this could be those of us that even withhold solo sexual energy, for those that don't even engage in sexual energy with their bodies at all because of fears, anxieties, or past experiences. So there's a call here to heal the heart space and to know that we are denying ourselves something that's very basic and primal and necessary for us to feel alive. And we should not deny ourselves that thing. So this is something to really think about, Divine Feminine, about working on the healing. If you need support in healing that energy, it might be a good idea to find someone to talk to about sexual trauma, because you will forever be blocked by that trauma until you really kind of dig into it and visit it. And it's best to do that with somebody who is a licensed therapist that can really help protect your mental state as you go through something that's pretty difficult. I have past experience from my childhood, from before the time that I was 4, that was repressed for a long time. And when I started to have flashbacks, it was very scary. So definitely, if you need to explore this trauma, and I'm feeling a lot of emotion coming up. So I think there are some of you that are really, maybe you're acknowledging that you've had this happen and you didn't really acknowledge it before. And let me tell you that it doesn't even have to be a clear thing. It doesn't have to be like it can be a situation where you are having sex and you just really didn't want to, and you did it anyway, and that caused a traumatic wound. It doesn't have to be an extreme situation for it to be extremely damaging and blocking. So there's a call there for us to go visit that. I think some of you have really had a lot of difficulty dealing and facing that. Wow. We're getting the prostitute card in reverse. So Divine Feminine, I think, is really afraid of this, that being in sexual energy is somehow makes you a fallen woman. And that, I think, is hurting your heart space. The shadow of the prostitute is placing material considerations and security above self-empowerment. And the light is accentuating the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. So there are some in the collective right now that have, this resonates with me entirely because like I told you at the beginning of the reading, like I'm having a financial situation where I can't access 3 months worth of income, and it's just been for 2 weeks. So without, spontaneous income coming in from readings or new clients, I have no access. And I've been considering, like, do I just get another job right now? Just like, I don't know, because I don't know if I'm going to access that money. And like, I'm not getting like my consistent normal patronage that I usually get. And so should I just like go do work for someone else right now because of my material needs and completely fuck off my healing work and my music that I worked for 2 years to be able to do exclusively and can do now with a lot of focus, concentration, and expertise? No, I should not go just get an hourly job and waste my time and energy trying to find a way just to meet my material needs and completely forget about my obligation to be on this mission and not trust that I'm going to get this abundance. When I have clients make around $100 an hour for readings or for production or consulting, anything like that I do in music. So for me to spend time and energy trying to get a job where I'm going to only make like $20 an hour, if that, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why wouldn't I just try to find new clients? There's something that's inside of Divine Feminine that is making her feel afraid that she can't trust in what it is that she wants to do. And she has to embrace the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm like, nope, I'm not going to negotiate that. I have made this commitment to myself. I'm going to find a way to do it, even if I get evicted, because I know that as soon as I relinquish that belief in myself, I have to do all the work to get it back. And so it's really something similar for you, Divine Feminine. You are having some kind of experience where right now you are placing your material considerations and your security above your self-empowerment, and you have to turn that around. Faith. It's really being tested right now, but you're being supported. When a guardian angel card comes out in reverse for me, it means it's particularly challenging, and you really need the support for this. You really have to have faith. I have to have faith, right? That I don't need to get another hourly job. I don't need to go drive for Lyft again in order to survive. I might add that when I drove for Lyft, I made less money and had less survival and had no time. So, faith. I am the loving energy of the universe. That's the lesson. The lesson is that you are that loving energy expressed in a physical vessel with an ego that needs to be managed throughout life. And the ego is there to convince you that you're separate so that you do things. Otherwise, you would just be like, I'm part of God and I don't really need to do anything. And it wouldn't be that much fun. Boundaries. Establish them, keep them, maintain them. There might be some people in your life right now that you need to maintain these boundaries with. You might be challenged. Maybe there's people who have put up boundaries and that's uncomfortable for you because you're learning about how to respect other people's boundaries. Divine Feminine has a habit of violating Divine Masculine's boundaries a lot. I have a lot of clients that will frequently text their masculines who are not talking to them. They will text them and they will text them and they will text them. And then they will feel awful because the Divine Masculine isn't speaking to them and they keep texting them and they keep texting them. That is violating the masculine's boundary. If you have messaged them and they do not respond in any way, shape, or form, specifically directly, because we can often read into their other posts and say, oh, that was for me, but there's really no way to say that for sure. And I'm a feminine who used to do this. I used to do this a lot. I'm much more selective about when I send messages. I send messages now if I feel an invitation to do so, or if I feel like it's serving the masculine energy, not just myself, not making me feel better, but maybe making my masculine feel better in some way. But I refrain as much as I possibly can. And I want to message him all the time. I want to be like, what do you mean this? Why that? What this, the other thing? Will you just fucking talk to me? Why do you keep communicating with me in this weird, vague way? Are you even doing that? Please help me. Believe me, every day I sit there with the thing like, okay, you delete, because I don't want to violate his boundaries. Guess what? If he wanted me to text him, he'd text me back. He would text me back. He doesn't want me to text him. And if he does want me to text him and he doesn't text me back, he's got some issues. Because he wants me to be psychic and just text him and not ever get a response, which is weird. He probably doesn't want you to text him. So don't violate his boundaries. Maintain your own. If you are open to receiving texts, fine. Be open to receiving texts. But he doesn't seem to be. So back off. Stay away and give him space. If you needed space, wouldn't you want it? Like, I have a friend right now who I want to talk to more than anything in the world. But she told me that she wanted space. She didn't know how long it would be and that she didn't want communication. Every day I want to send her a message and be like, are you okay? I love you. I'm thinking about you. I hope everything's going well for you. I'm sad that we can't talk. But she needed space. My job that I do with twin flame stuff, that was hard for her to deal with. She couldn't accept that. I would have been okay. But you have to respect someone else's boundaries. So make sure you are honoring others' boundaries around you if you want your own respected. You got the Fool twice and this new romantic cycle beginning. So for those of you that have been chasing one energy, first of all, I do not chase, I attract, right? Get out of that mindset. And second of all, right now on your side of the spread, on the feminine side of the spread, there is every opportunity for a new romantic cycle. You got the Ace of Cups. You got the Fool 2 times. You got the 6 of Pentacles, reciprocity from somebody, reciprocal love, reciprocal opportunity here. This may be with the divine counterpart, although his action card was in reverse and his temperance card was in reverse. So he doesn't look totally ready. So if it's not this counterpart that you're focused on right now, there is potential for a new romantic cycle to evolve with someone else completely if you can remain open to it, because this Knight of Cups You're open, right? You're open to receiving any offers. You're like, I love my counterpart forever. I do. And I really hope divine counterpart is the one that's stepping up with the offer. But at this point in my life, I also know that if I went into another union, I would still love my divine counterpart with all of my heart and wish him the absolute best and have hope that we have a chance in another lifetime to be able to be together and now I'm with this soulmate for this lifetime. You have to be in the place to embrace that, because we don't just have one person that we have an opportunity with. We have a lot of people that we have an opportunity with. We seem to have one person that is this perfect match for triggering us into our awakening, but that's all it's about. It's about being triggered into the awakening. I'm not with my person yet, so I can't I can't really testify that, oh, you come into physical union. That hasn't happened for me. It's been 13 years. It seems like it's going to happen, but it's been seeming like it's going to happen for about a year and a half. So I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that everything I've gained from this experience, it's been so precious to me that I don't regret any of it. Like I don't. Even if I don't end up with this person, I'll still be like, wow, that was a fucking head spin. Like, that was pretty great. Great, like a roller coaster. That's terrifying. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution and expression. So divine feminine, you're often asking for divine masculine to do this, but there is a call for you to do this right now. You're kind of in your cave, and I'm definitely in my... I mean, I don't even call this is a straight up man cave. I'm not even going to say this is a lady cave, because it's not. I've got a bunch of gear all around me. Like, I'm surrounded by, I have a music studio. This is a man cave. There's like a ton of weed in here. I'm in my man cave, man. And it's really hard to get me out. I mean, part of that is like, how am I going to pay to get out of here, though? Pretty much I can only walk around like MacArthur Park area, which is like not a place you want to walk around. I actually walked down there the other day, and just to check it out, because I'm getting a dog, and I was like, well, I gotta take this dog to the park, so I'm gonna go brave MacArthur Park, even though it's like pretty nasty place. But what I didn't realize is that since Governor Newsom made this new law that like homelessness is criminalized, just like New York, pretty much, and there's all these places you can't be anymore. There's no more, like, they've cleared out MacArthur Park, so it's now just like a park, and there's not tents and stuff, which is weird because it always has been like that. So it looks totally different now, but unfortunately, all of those people are now in jail. So I don't really feel good about the fact that MacArthur Park doesn't look good anymore, because those people need somewhere to go. But anyway, you've been in your cave. You've been hiding away. You've not really wanted to come out and express yourself. You might not have wanted to express yourself to the masculine energy because of boundaries. But you're not expressing in other ways, and you need to come out and get out into the world, start to interact with people, start to have a good time. Electric eel spirit. Bring your ideas to life. I always get off on this card. My God, it's so stupid. All right, 24. The oracle message is, stop smoking cannabis. That's the oracle message. No, I won't. All right. Seemingly out of nowhere, the jolt of electric eel spirit appears to awaken you to a big idea that you are meant to explore. Epiphanies, this is kind of similar to this Page of Wands energy here. Epiphanies and aha moments are gifted to you right now, so celebrate. Your life has the potential for profound transformation. Inspiration arises in you, electrifying you so that you can't wait to get started bringing your idea to life. The revelations you experience now are meant to set you on a new path, so do not be afraid to act. Explore, examine, and do not fear the changes that may come, for Spirit wants to shower you with love, success, and abundance that you hope to experience. Now is a thrilling time of epiphanies, inspired ideas, and innovation. This is a wondrous sign for you today. All right, Divine Feminine, your Fool energy, new beginnings energy is all over the place. Bring these ideas you have to life. Ooh, look at the door that's closed to you. We're looking at a door that is closed and how you can open it. And you're going to love it. It is the Five of Wands. And it is this, there's a masculine energy here trying to pound down this door, but you're going to have to use a sledgehammer to get through that door. The key is the Ten of Wands. The key is expression. And it's so funny because in your mind, you think, oh, the divine masculine, if he wants to get in on this, if he wants to break down this door, get through this block that I put up against him, his ass better come and tell me everything. His ass better express everything to me, right? Well, this is the door that's closed to you, and this is your key. There's a masculine in these pictures because you think that this problem is about the masculine, and you're wrong. This problem is about you. You got to come out of the cave and express yourself card. So there is some part of you that is bearing a burden or a responsibility and unwilling to put it down or delegate or share with others. It's maybe difficult for you to ask for the help that you need. Resonating my financial situation, like I'm the one standing here with this, not knocking it down. This could almost be like going to a bank and asking for help type of a thing. But this is going and unburdening yourself and actually expressing the things that you're holding on to. So something in there, divine feminine, for you to explore. All right, masculine energy. Let's do you. You're getting so many sexual energy cards. Seven of Cups in reverse. The Star. And the Ten of Swords in reverse. All right, so divine masculine. You used to have a lot of options, and now you have made a decision to choose one. That one is the Star. This is the divine feminine, the individual that you feel is your divine counterpart. This is the only energy that you want to be in sexual union with, and you want to end the separation with this divine feminine, which came from betrayal that happened to do with having too many options, too many opportunities to engage in sexual energy, and you want to end this scenario. Now, this could mean that you engaged with other sexual partners and you don't want to do that anymore, and you just want to be with this healed divine feminine, that because now you've healed this karmic cycles of betrayal for yourself. Or it could be that your fears and anxieties about divine feminine having other options and betraying you are ending, and so you can end the separation because you are healing these fears that you have in regards to your sexual union with her. There's also a healing from a traumatic experience that was hidden from you, that was not clear. It was like a foggy thing. It could, just like I was talking about having repressed sexual trauma, there's something that has also been healed that's allowing you to make this much healthier decision about your sexual union. So that's where divine masculine is. The Hermit. We've got divine feminine in her cave, and we've got divine masculine in the Hermit energy. So that tracks. Seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life and serves personal creativity. Okay, so divine masculine is in the light of the Hermit energy, which means he's soul searching. He's not withdrawing from society out of fear or negative judgments of others or refusing to help those in need. He's leaving that behind. So if you're not hearing from the divine masculine right now, respect his boundaries, because he is doing the work that he needs to do. He's soul searching right now. He's focusing intently on his inner life so that he can create this manifestation that he has surrounding this union with his counterpart. We're getting a guardian angel card with emphasis. Heaven is watching over you. So divine masculine is needing feeling of protection. And he's being given this reassurance with this card. He is literally being held in the arms of the creator in that divine, feminine, mothering energy. Compassionate, loving, nurturing, caring, fun. I get the sense that this is like a fun kind of a mom energy, and divine masculine is being embraced in that energy right now. Joy is the ultimate creator. Didn't I say it? If divine feminine wants to end separation, she has to create joy in her life. She has to experience the joy that is already available to her, because joy is the ultimate creator. Divine masculine is learning that same lesson. Prosperity. He is ready to pour his prosperity into this union with the divine feminine. He's ready to experience the abundance from the union. He's ready to share the abundance he has for the benefit of this union. There's definitely a feeling here that this is an auspicious time for both of them. He's getting, hold your vision. Your hard work is paying off. So he's a little bit afraid. He's like, I've done all these things. I don't know if this is still going to work. Like, hold your vision. Your hard work is paying off right now. It is absolutely paying off. Everything that you are doing is working. So keep at it, divine masculine. You're doing a good job right now. Transformation. Things are changing at a cellular level and deep healing. You had the star appear twice in your reading. You are definitely in this deep healing energy and transforming at this time. I happen to know that for my DM, his intense and transformative phase astrologically ends on October 6th. Koala Spirit. Spirit has a plan. This is the protection message. I love Koala Spirit. So cute. What is it? 35. Are you feeling uneasy and mistrustful of the world? Have you been hiding in a safe spot? A hermit energy. Afraid to venture out because you're convinced that life and other people will disappoint you? Koala Spirit has appeared to let you know that your faith is misplaced. The present safety you seek is already passing away, because all things are temporary and outer conditions are always changing. Find your safety by placing your faith and trust in Spirit, who will grow the abundance that is already yours. Perhaps you are acting slowly and overly cautiously because you lack faith that there is more for you out there than what you know. You may have boxed yourself into a safe place that has nothing else to give you and become so familiar with it that you have forgotten to explore. Are you feeling pessimistic and convinced there is nothing more out there for you? Koala Spirit reminds you that self-care is meant to replenish you so that you can venture out again in faith, trusting that there is no limit to the joy Spirit wants you to experience. Be good to yourself and reconnect with Spirit to reclaim your faith in things yet unseen. I feel that so strongly. There is this one thing that my divine masculine and I do that I know is his safe place. And I keep going there with him because I love him and I want to be with him there. But at the same time, when I'm there, I'm exhausted by the safeness of that space. That there is really, it is a space where only he gets to express. I don't have any way to counter his expression. I can't respond to him. I can't, if he puts music up, basically, if he puts a song up that says he's afraid I'm with someone else, I can't communicate with him about that. I can't be like, I'm not. What the fuck? But that's his safe space. That's the only place I can go to see him. And so I do. And what you allow, you condone. And I condone that safe space because he's not been able to leave it. And the thing is, I'll go to that space with him, but as my side of the spread, as the feminine side of the spread revealed itself, I'm ready for a reflection of reciprocity. I have the ability to reciprocate much more than is allowed in that space. So if somebody comes into my awareness that is on that same page with me, I will most likely not go to that space anymore because there's nothing more for me there. So divine masculine has gotten really comfortable, and he needs to come out of that comfortable space because otherwise he's going to remain there alone in his hermit energy. You can't require someone else to stay safe with you. The door that needs to be opened or closed for divine masculine, the Queen of Cups. And I actually feel like this is a very religious meaning here, because this looks like an apparition of the Virgin Mary. And I feel like divine masculine's doorway will be opened by prayer and devotion to a divine feminine, not the person, not the vessel that he associates with his counterpart, but actually praying to the goddess. So if there is comfort in the Catholic tradition, this would be developing a devotion to Mary as mother. If it's in another tradition, however, it could be Hecate, it could be Isis, it could be, it's just so many. There's billions. There's literally billions. I have a whole deck full of them. Pick one. But there is a call here, I feel, to have a devotion. Divine masculine is also on his knees there begging divine feminine energy. So this is the door here but this is the key. The 10 of Cups, spiritual fulfillment, which is why I say having a devotion to a goddess energy or divine mother energy is really important, because it's about spiritual fulfillment. But if divine masculine wants to be healed in his own maternal energy inside of self, and he wants to attract that maternal energy, he has to envision that possibility for himself of a happy, healed union. And he also has to bring that spiritual fulfillment to himself and to his divine counterpart in order to fully be there's a seeking of forgiveness here. He's so sorry for not bringing union. And I think that the doorway to releasing the guilt that divine masculine feels is bringing the union in to its fulfillment. Okay. This is the final closing cards for the union. For the sexual union, we are getting strength and the witch or the magician energy. So major energy or major union. This is controlling the beast, so controlling the baser motives and manifesting an actual sacred union is where the twins are right now. They are learning to control their egos, and they're learning to control they're learning to co-create, to work together. The feminine is able to control the beast and work with the divine in order to come into a truly sacred union. So that's a really powerful sexual energy of creativity right now that you are in. And we also have the goddess energy in reverse. So this is exploitation of the female nature and form. And it is about being in the shadow attributes. So you want to come into the light attributes, which is the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. This is a gorgeous place to be. And it's very difficult now because I think it's so interesting that this is happening, that we're getting trolled during the exploitation of the female form card. There's nothing more poignant and energetically perfect than that to happen, because we have entered into a time where we feel like it is socially acceptable to fully exploit the feminine. And both the feminine and masculines of sides of self do this. It's like even feminines watch pornography, right? In an objectification of the feminine form. It's not an objectification of the masculine form. It's not, because pornography is primarily meant to objectify the female, if you're looking at hetero, obviously. It's about denigration and exploitation. And it's difficult for us to heal this. We have a very difficult time with this in our society because of the shame we carry about sex and the misery that we have inside of ourselves about the sexual traumas we've experienced. There was also the call for the divine masculine to open up that healing doorway into the divine feminine energy. So we see that this is called for in the union, that there is this call to focus on the goddess energy again. Like maybe we should start doing our goddess practice. But the light attributes is the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. This doesn't mean that the goddess doesn't get to be sexual. She is very sexual. She's incredibly sexual in nature. She is creativity itself, but it becomes about the creativity. It becomes about those moments of connection instead of it being about something that is potentially harmful or exploitative. We're getting the reward card in reverse. This for me is you are afraid that you're not going to get what you want because you've learned the lesson that you have to forget what you think you need. So it's very difficult for you to believe that you're going to receive your reward, or you don't know exactly what the reward will constitute. So it's challenging for you. It's very challenging. But you have to release your attachment to the outcome and accept that you've asked for something, and what you've asked for, you're going to receive in its fulfillment. Because happiness is my birthright. You are absolutely entitled to this. Absolutely. So, and remember, I always modify this and say contentment, because I don't want just happiness. I want everything. I want the full spectrum of emotions. But well-being is your natural state. So you can believe that you are going to get this reward for this work that you have done. We're getting the grieving card again and the butterfly, which of course is transformation energy. And we have to grieve for the ego death. We started out with the strength card, which is usually about surrendering and allowing that ego to be under control. When we give up the things that we think we need, there's grief there. It's like, wait, but I thought this was supposed to be about, this physical union, the house, the car, and 2.5 kids. And you're like, nah. This is about healing. This is really about healing. So you end up having to grieve the loss of the things that you thought were going to be. You're also grieving for the mistakes that you made, the missed opportunities, all of those things that, you're like, oh, if only I had done that. Focusing on that energy and not just grieving it and letting it pass through you and feeling your feelings and moving on, it causes you to stay in a state where you keep experiencing the thing that you're grieving. So you need to move through grief together. And this is also just about the rebirth of the connection, grieving what was lost and allowing the new thing to be reborn. And then we're getting a new start is coming. And this is new moon energy. This is coming out with the Fool so many times. And the Ace of Cups. This is definitely a new start for the both of you. Excuse me. You also somehow got 2 cards. You were only supposed to get 1. But, oh, no, this is from a different deck. My bad. It just looks the same. Align your life. What is not aligned or needs to change. So there are still some things here that need adjusting. This is definitely about you coming into alignment, these pieces finally coming into place. And we're getting Dove Spirit, be peace, and we're getting the protection message. This is not the first time we saw the dove in this last reading. We just saw it here in the picture from the reward card. So there is definitely like the spirit, like the Holy Spirit is present. And it's so significant when that happens because that is the way that the divine interacts with the clay, basically. So to experience the Holy Spirit for your union is very powerful. The protection message is, however disturbed the waters around you, however troubled your heart, Dove Spirit is there to remind you that peace without begins within as you reconnect with Spirit through practices that awaken you from spiritual amnesia. Your true nature is as a peaceful spirit, child of Spirit, but how easily you forget. You're being invited to sit in the cozy, safe nest of Spirit. Soon the waters will become still and you will feel peace again. Be compassionate with yourself at this time, for all of us can forget that peace is always at hand, always there, gifted to us by Spirit. Become the peace you wish to see in the world so you can reduce any suffering, performing acts of kindness and radiating love. Dove Spirit also reminds you that when you see inequity or someone harmed or in need, trust that you have the capacity to bring peace through smiling, sending love, speaking a kind word, and listening with a compassionate heart. Do your part to be a peacemaker, nourishing compassion, reminding others of the joy of harmonious coexistence so that they may embrace the Dove Spirit within themselves too. So this is a call to really be peaceful towards one another, be compassionate, don't take things personally, things like that. And then we're getting the door closing or opening for you is the Four of Wands. And the key to opening it is so interesting. It is the Seven of Swords. So the Seven of Swords we already got today for the Divine Masculine in its reverse. The Four of Wands is that family, that home, that relationship stability. It's marriage, sacred union that we're looking at here. And the Seven of Swords is about being clever, being tricky. But in this image, it's not anything about that. It's actually about creating something, strategizing, or planning something. This is an artist, and she's realizing her vision through a strategy where she took if you look at the Seven of Swords, where you have seven swords and you have an individual that's making off with some of them, trying to get away from clearly some kind of situation. They're trying to like get away with something or steal something away. And we see in this image, it's become not about the stealing away as so much as it is about the plan for how to get away with what you desire. So it's like you both have to use your vision right now to create a strategy to come together for this relationship. There's also something about stealing ideas. Like the key to this might be that someone else might have been able to accomplish this, like looking for expanders who have been able to do what it is that you want to do. That's another thing that you might want to consider too, like looking to steal ideas about how to come into this union, how to open this door. So however that resonates, I hope that helps. Let me pull a couple of cards just to close that will just give us some advice today for what we can do today to balance out and come into union. And this is that point where I say, please like, subscribe, share, click on the links, support me any way you can. If you feel so compelled, you can go to my website, pearlsprayers.com. And you can click the support button, and that really helps me out. It just sends me a donation to help me keep doing these live. You can also send me a deck. There's 25% off of all services today through Halloween. If you use this, I'm going to put it here in the chat, discount code GraceStrega25 with an exclamation point will get you 25% off all services on my site. So there is that. All right, let us look at these cards. Divine Masculine for today. You are getting, oh, you know what? I want to pull one more. I just realized I pulled. What do I want? I want this. I'm going to pull the tarot for each of you too. One clarifier, please. No, one, not three. Masculine with all your cards here. one clarifier for you. All right, perfect. So today, divine masculine. Oh, God. All right, we're getting soulmates, soul connection, partnership, agreement, and soul contract. And then we are getting the golden mirror, self-absorbed, narcissist, one-sided relationship, and love bombing. And we are getting the Ace of Wands. And it's just a poignant one for me. This one is incredibly phallic. I mean, they all are, but this one is bursting with desire. Okay, we've got divine masculine today. Today, you need to focus more on your soul connection, on your soulmate, than you are focusing on yourself. You have a tendency, divine masculine, to be self-absorbed and to love bomb divine feminine. And you do this because of this calling you feel, because you feel that she's your soulmate and you want her to know that. But you stay in this place, right? You stay in the safe hermit place where you're just love bombing your soulmate. And instead, you're being told today to actually take action. Pick up the wand. This is your heart's desire. And instead of just telling divine feminine over and over and over and over and over and over again how much you love her and want to be with her so fucking much, you need to grab the bull by the horns and go do what you want. You want to come into alignment with your soulmate. You want to complete the soul contract. You want to fulfill it. So stop being self-absorbed and actually do that. Because right now, the only person that you're making happy is yourself, honestly. Hard pill to swallow. Because you think what you're doing, you're like, but I'm doing everything for divine feminine. And it's like, no. You're doing everything. It's 8:44 on the clock. You're doing everything so that divine feminine loves you. Because you don't believe that she does. You're not doing that stuff for divine feminine. Divine feminine doesn't need to hear 12 hours worth of music about how you love her. She needs to hear you say, I love you. Wow, that took less than a second. You didn't have to sit there for hours. And you're like, but I do that so she... No, you do that so that you don't have to do what you need to do, which is grab... I'm not going to say it. You just need to do what you're supposed to do. You just need to go do it. You're just afraid, and you need to just give her that offer. Take her out of that narcissist, one-sided relationship stuff. Divine feminine. Will I have to yell at you too today? The sword and rose. Clarity, truth, revelation, solidarity, force, honor, protection, and power. And Cupid's arrow. Have faith. Love is coming. Surprise invitation or meeting and hesitation. And justice. Upright. Okay? Divine feminine. The sword and the rose. You, right now, you're about to experience clarity, truth, revelation about love that is coming to you and justice that is here. So for you today, you just need to maintain this clarity, okay? Maintain the clarity about how this has been about balancing inside of self. And that you're learning to do that is attracting this energy to you right now of partnership, which is what you desire so much. And you're allowed to desire that. There is nothing wrong for desiring a romantic partner. Please give yourself permission to unapologetically desire that. The problem exists when you desire one individual who cannot fulfill your needs at this time, and you put all of your energy into that. That's what you need clarity about. As long as you're focused on the balance between the two of you, you can attract this love. And just keep this faith today that it is coming because of justice, because karmic lessons have been learned. Keep this faith. And then the very bottoms of the deck for the both of you, the things you have to look out for: the sunglasses energy, which is watching, looking, stalking, gaslighting, perception, and focusing out, and the Eight of Swords. Stop protecting yourselves in your man caves, because you're both in them, and just watching each other. Just watching, just going all day long on social media and say, oh, did they do, what did they do? Where are they going now? What are they doing now? What's happening now? What's happening? What's she saying? What's she doing? This is keeping you stuck. This is keeping you stuck in that prison of your own thoughts and anxieties, with your focus inward, very self-absorbed, narcissistic, love bombing each other. Because divine feminine, again, don't get smug. Oh, divine masculines love bombing me. You're doing it too. You are doing, this is your masculine energy. So you are doing the same thing. You are stuck in a one-sided relationship with a soulmate where nothing is happening, because you won't give up this desire you have to be with one person. And that one person is stuck in a place where they are just love bombing you because they are afraid to embrace a future with just one person. You're both doing it. Sorry you feel attacked. I'm just the messenger. I do too. I rewatch these after I do them because I'm literally not here. And then I go back and watch them and I'm like, rude. But you're both guilty. This is both of your problems. I know when you come here, you're wanting all this insight about a person, and you get it. But the only reason you get insight about that person, the only reason that you're like, oh my God, this is so accurate, is because you and I share an energy very similar. We were probably raised similarly. We probably had similar experiences. We probably came from the same cluster of stars in the universe. And our experience is to learn this lesson, and this lesson is the same. And that lesson is that you have to have faith and trust, blind faith, blind trust in the higher power, who you ask, please bring me a person that is good for me. And they're like, you said a person who's good for you? And you're like, yes. And they're like, oh, all right, well, get ready to clear out all of your current options, because ain't none of those people good for you. And you're like, why are they all going away? And God's like, I swear, you told me you wanted a good person. I either have to make all these other jokers go away and make a good person come to you, or I have to take one of these jokers and do a bunch of healing on them, and that's going to take a long fucking time. Which one do you want? And you're like, I like that one joker. And God's like, all right, we got another twin flame out here. There's so many other jokers. She just wants the one. You can get off the journey at any point in time, by the way. If you decide you don't want the one joker anymore, you don't want to wait for the joker to heal because the joker takes a long time. First of all, you're probably going to go get into a karmic relationship because that joker's yourself and you didn't heal yourself yet. But you can go do that if you want to. Oh, I love this journey so much. I hope that helped everyone today. Thank you for being here and for withstanding the trolling. Have you gone and looked at some of these comments? People are so uncreative. I don't even I don't even really look at them, but some of them are really, 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 really funny, and some of them are so not creative. What is these ones? Wait, let's look at these. I don't know how to pronounce this person. It looks like Pepsi, but there's no P. Is God? I think they forgot Pepsi because it's like Jordash is the thrice forgot. This shit is hilarious. But yeah, I'm really interested in understanding the mental state of a troll. Like, what's the point? It's just like, I guess they try to get my attention, and then if they do, it's like the equivalent to somebody like kissing your dick for a second. Like, I'm not really exactly sure what it's about, because I'm always like, what's your deal? Like, what's your point? Just to get like a rise out of me or something? Most of the time I'm just like, fuck, now I can't see the real comments. So that's all you've accomplished. And I know I've had this happen before, and I get people who come there because they're like participating in this massive trolling thing, and then they'll stay and ask questions. And I'm like, oh, reach one, teach one. All right, everybody, have a great day today. I hope, yes, they did not get a proper emotional strokings as a child, Heather. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I will be back after my day off, which is tomorrow, and I'm actually taking the day off, so there won't be any new reading content tomorrow. I'm going to do some TikTok readings today. I said I was going to jump on and read some cards over on TikTok, so I probably will. And then Wednesday, I will do obstacles removed. Friday will be release and rebuild. I'm going to sprinkle in a tell me everything reading somewhere in there. And then Saturday, I'll probably be with Gray Strega Live on Instagram. If you missed it, go check the one we did this weekend. It was great. And there is that discount code, which is, yes, today on TikTok, Heather. I'm going to guess, it's probably going to take me about, 2 hours? I would guess in about 4 hours from now, I will probably be on TikTok doing live readings. So stay tuned for me there. And I felt like I was saying something, but I don't remember what it was now. pearlsprayers.com for everything that you need. I don't know. I'll see you tomorrow. No, I won't. I'll see you Wednesday. Have a great day.